If you've ever been excited for the end of the school year as either a student or a parent, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, folks. Happy Thursday, happy post NVIDIA earnings day. We're going to break everything down and try to find something to trade. Got 13 in the back. Let's roll.
Welcome to Benzinga Live Trading.
Let's see if this actually kind of comes back.
Way out of control, got way too high.
All right. Hey, I will take that. I will absolutely take that.
All right, folks, welcome back to another episode of Live Trading. I'm your host, Ryan Faloona, and I'm here with the main man 13. I guess we have a new name for Thursday, a thriving Thursday. Is that what we're calling it going forward here? Works for me. Let's bring on 13. What do you think about a thriving Thursday, my man?
Well, we're getting rid of thirsty.
Thirsty Thursday to thriving Thursday. I mean, thirsty has like negative internet slang connotations.
We're going there. Okay.
Well, no, I don't know where, dude. Look, let's be honest. I have no idea where we're going. Okay, let's just get that. I have no clue where we're going. I'm just trying to make sense of all of this.
Thriving Thursday sounds great.
Thriving, I like it. I mean, I like it. Sounds good to me. Okay, good morning, everybody. Welcome. Grand Rising, Ryan 13 and Benzinga family. Grand Rising. I don't know that anyone has ever wished me a good morning in that way. So I'll take this. This is great.
That's a good one.
Ahead. Let's go ahead and dive right in here. The big news of the day, obviously, 13. This is going to be NVIDIA earnings yesterday. So we had a nice long conversation the past 2 days trying to prepare the group. What are we going to trade if NVIDIA trades up? What are we going to trade if NVIDIA trades down? Well, NVIDIA is trading up. SPY is up here today. You can see 533.54. We're actually over yesterday's after hours high. At least we are on my brokers. The chart looks a little bit different. It sure looks like the market is going to move here today. So what are we looking for here on the SPY? Do you have anything on the SPY? Are you in any of these ETFs that track the SPY or anything like that? What do you see here?
Well, we were looking at that ascending triangle yesterday, and it seemed like it was going to break down when we started getting the Goldman Sachs CEO comments, which interestingly were just 30 minutes ahead of the FOMC meeting minutes, and they were very similar. So it's kind of like, well, he may have seen that those meeting minutes before everybody else. Aside from that, we ended up breaking out of that ascending triangle on the NVIDIA earnings, and now we're at new all-time highs, or going to be at new all-time highs in the SPY once we open. So when I look at the current candle it is, I mean, it could be topping out, maybe not, but we are getting to be pretty extended here in the SPY. So I've still maintained that we do need to come in at some point. We can't just continue to go up forever and not have some kind of corrective or pullback type move. This, we've talked a lot about, there being a blow off top in some of these, or not in this particular company. Or in the like NVIDIA or the market itself. We've seen these pops over consolidation after a number of days and think, okay, well, maybe this is where we start to come back in. Nope, we just continue to grind higher. I don't know that that's going to necessarily stop today, but I think that now that we have NVIDIA earnings behind us, we might start to see a little bit of weakness. And as far as NVIDIA earnings go, one of the things I noticed is that ever since last year, or even like a little bit before then, when we started having these really huge EPS numbers, their growth has been in decline. You can see.
Here, let me. You know what? This is a really good point that you made. Let me show this, right? Because Benzinga Pro actually does a really good job of showing some of this stuff. So let me see if I can get this. You know what? I'm on the beta site because I was testing something out here. Let me go ahead and load my layout and pull this up in Pro. We'll take a look at this together. I agree with you. I mean, it's very clear that things are starting to come in. Oh, that's one of the ones that I created in Pro. Let me get the NVIDIA one up here. NVDA, boop, boop. And let's take a look at the earnings beats. All right, let me see if I can actually get this to load here. I'm not sure why this is not loading.
Try clicking the earnings tab. Maybe it'll just fill the data. Because I have you're on secondary earnings right now.
No,
or offerings. I mean,
no, I was sharing the wrong screen here. So
okay.
Yeah, so no, I'm not sure why my earnings calendar isn't loading. Sorry about that. Anyway, one of the things that you were saying is that the amount in which they beat their EPS and revenue is declining since last year.
Yes, I'll even pull up my calendar. I got it right here. So you can see from 2022, that was the last time. I'm sorry, from February 2023, that was the last time we reported a single digits EPS percentage, because it's just been taking off ever since then. And you can see from the results of their revenue and their EPS that we've come to a peak, and we're coming down into a decline right now. Single digits EPS this particular quarter. Last quarter we got single digit revenue, and now it's even lower than that. There's still beats, but you can clearly see a pattern of growth decline. That's the big concern for me. So I think that that growth decline could lead to maybe some selling, some profit taking. Maybe it'll just with the intent to reload later. But I think because of how much the growth has apparently slowed down, that we might also see the excitement for NVIDIA slow down. That's just my opinion, though. So take that data point how you will. I think it's important to pay attention to that. That it is getting to be slower for them.
Yeah, indeed here. And, one of the other things that we've discussed is just kind of a philosophy, NVIDIA and otherwise, you don't want to own stock at peak earnings. And maybe this is, in fact, peak earnings, especially if any of these other companies take market share from NVIDIA. So we'll see. We'll see what happens here. Now, in the meantime, this is about to gap up, right? We're above $1,000 here. Sure looks like we might test this 1,020 level again. What's the plan here for today? I understand, maybe not just wanting to kind of jump in, not sure how much more this has to go. We just talked about a potential pullback here. What's the plan for NVIDIA? Or are you just avoiding it altogether?
I'm not interested in going long up here.
Okay,
I would if I do want to pick up NVIDIA at some point, because I have other things that are doing really well. As a matter of fact, I picked up an ETF that yesterday that has both Samsung and Taiwan Semiconductor in it, because I'm interested in owning the actual chip producers, not just the designers like NVIDIA is. So for as far as NVIDIA goes, and maybe even some of the rest of the Maxims, I would kind of just want to wait and see what they do. But it's interesting. What's interesting to me is some of the other names like AMD. They could move in relation to that. And I know with AMD, which is really interesting with them, they're coming off of an inverse head and shoulders. You can see that from their daily chart that we're just now starting to we just broke the 50-day SMA. And that pattern that you see right there at the end, inverse head and shoulders, that we're starting to resolve, or that we're finished.
So you're looking right in here, and here?
Just right in there, yeah. So I'm thinking that we're going to start to move into the 180s at, not today, I would say, but maybe later, maybe next week or sometime later on this quarter. It looks like we're trying to recover and go back up into the 200 area. So we'll have to wait and see just what happens with that.
Okay, so you looks like you're looking for some other plays in sympathy with NVIDIA, like AMD. I like this. This isn't even at its highs, right? We've got NVIDIA printing new all-time highs here this morning.
Exactly.
That makes a lot of sense to me. Might as well mention some of these other names that the group has kind of been on for a while. A-Lab, this is one that our group has really been sharp on since the IPO. This has given us some trades in both short and long here. It'll be interesting to watch A-Lab today. And shout out to Jay Rice, who gave us INDI a long time ago, another little semiconductor. So obviously we're talking about NVIDIA's got $1,000 price on it. Indy here, this is about $6, almost $7 here. This has been a pretty good performer as well. It's drifted down a little bit, but it is trading up here with NVIDIA. So let's see how this performs here. A lot of other potential stocks. Micron would be another one that you could watch here today. And then, it'll be interesting to see how Apple trades along with NVIDIA, to your point about NVIDIA, not saying the smartest thing.
And Amazon being a big
Amazon's another one. Thank you.
The thing about and feel free to disagree with me on this, but I really didn't like the CEO of NVIDIA's comments about how their big issue is supply. I feel like that's kind of just exposing your armor, and it's just going to it's just going to, anybody that wants to eat Nvidia's lunch and try to take over a portion of their market share in the chips and data center space, they're going to see that, and they're going to say, okay, well, now I know how to essentially try to take some of their lunch. I think that was a very bad move. I think that's going to it's going to help some of these other companies that are trying to get into that space, chip away at Nvidia.
Don't talk about your weaknesses as kind of just a general principle. I got you. I'm with you on that. Okay. Well, let's take a look at the movers list. Let's see what's gapping here and get prepared for it. I'm not sure how much is actually going to be on here, especially with Nvidia really being the big ticket item of the day. But let's take a look. Let's see if we can make some sense of any of this. Then we'll go over some tickers from the chat here. DC, by the way, also listing some other names that could trade with this Nvidia bump, if you will. Marvell, TSM, Snow, which also reported earnings and traded up yesterday. SOXL, which is our favorite ETF here, or has been recently, as that is the leveraged semiconductor, MU, and then obviously the Qs here. So let's go ahead and take a look. We've got we've got some of the gappers here to go over. First one here is going to be ONMD. This is One MedNet. This was a penny stock recently, and it is now above $1. I feel like we've traded this one before. We've seen this one move around. Volume here is pretty huge this morning, and we do have a PR here. They report greater than 5-fold expansion of IRWD network and platform. This is their proprietary network and platform. One MedNet here up 193%. I would say definitely be careful with this one, but this might be our stock du jour. You got anything on this one? 13? I
didn't see any reverse splits or offerings or really any shortages of note. They do have a 12 million share float. It does look like this was formerly a SPAC. So if you remember trading this, it was probably because it was in the process of de-SPACing late last year, and it has been just kind of bottoming out since the year started with maybe 1 or 2 pops here and there. So maybe I guess this is a question of, has this finished de-SPACing? Are we going to start turning around from here? If we do go up, I'd be looking for resistance levels starting at about $3. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, so if this is in fact de-SPACed, perhaps we come up off the bottom here. Sure shows on the daily chart that this has kind of been bottoming since what? This year, really? Yeah. Looks like January 2024, our first bottom. Looks like we've kind of tested that area. So ONMD, let's see if this gives us a pretty decent move here today. That one, be careful. Be careful, but this pulls back to the VWAP here. We might have a bounce trade on our hands. So, okay, good stuff there. Next one here is going to be CYTO. This is Altamira Therapeutics. We've definitely traded this one off the relative volume scanner. This is one that we've seen volume flow into, create a huge bump, create a tradable scenario. We'll see if we get that here again. Ticker CYTO. We do have a catalyst here this morning. Altamira Therapeutic shares announced dissemination of positive results from Bentrio trial in seasonal allergic rhinitis through social media channels and top allergy journal. Interesting. What do you make of them going through social media channels to disseminate some of their positive results? I mean, I'm glad they did it in the top allergy journal as well. I'm just not sure what the hit on social media is going to do for them. Yeah, social media is just, it's just a castle of disinformation and misinformation. So I don't necessarily think that's that's really great. Based on just because of what I know social media to be. I mean, it could be, if it's used correctly, it could be great. So if that's what they're doing it for, then maybe there is some positivity to that. But I really don't think there's that's special. I think it's more of a detriment. I think just that's just my opinion though. I really couldn't tell you how crucial that is that they did it through social media channels. Okay. Yep. Just something I'm wondering here. This doing a good job holding above the VWAP. Looks like it's using that $2 level as some support. We'll see if this pushes away. 220 seems to be the high that we really need to take out for this to juice a little bit more. Okay. Now the net. I'm sorry. I was going to say there's a 2.2 million shares in the float. They did a 1-for-20 reverse split back in December. And just as you said that, we broke down through the VWAP. So there we go. Voila, there we go. There we go. Okay. Next couple of stocks on this list are not are actually, ETFs or mere and other stocks. So NVDL, you would expect this to be up. This is the 2x long levered ETF product that follows NVIDIA. Obviously, this one having a great day here, up 5 points. This might be another way that you could play NVIDIA today. Get a little bit more leverage, a little bit lower of a price tag here. If you're looking for some active trades, this should be liquid enough for you, depending on your position size. So this, if you're looking to trade NVIDIA without actually trading NVDA, NVDL here might be one of those possibilities. Again, you can get a little bit of leverage on that. So if you time that move correctly, it could be pretty nice. Same deal here with SOXL. You folks know all about this one. We've traded this one a number of times here on this show. This is the semiconductor 3x levered ETF. This also having a really nice day, up 4 points here. Another one, we haven't talked about this in a long time, and it's worth noting that we should mention that we consider this the Widowmaker. All right, this is going to be Boyle. All right, and this is the Bloomberg Ultra Natural Gas ETF. This one also levered, and in fact, if you really want to see what this looks like, if you take a look at a weekly chart, it looks like this thing does nothing but sell off. It just reverse splits. Okay, so it is levered, it degrades, it reverse splits. However, if you're able to catch this one at the right time, it can be extremely lucrative. And if you see here recently, we are ramping off the bottom here on Boyle, ticker BOIL. We moved from 13 up to 24 since the beginning of May. All right, since the 2nd of May. So this hasn't even been a whole month. This stock is nearly a double, and this is following natural gas. So if you're looking to trade energy, or if you're looking to trade natural gas and you really want that juice, Boyle, one of those stocks that you can trade here. Again, we've talked to a lot of experienced traders that tell us all the time, look, natural gas, especially Boyle here, this is the Widowmaker. It goes down just as fast as it goes up. Make sure that you have a plan to protect your capital and manage your risk accordingly. But Boyle here, we are gapping up 8% here. This thing's likely to be wild. Look at what this is doing in the pre-market here. Just a big move off that 22 level. Next here is going to be, we already talked about SOXL. NVIDIA's on here. Uh-oh, Joe. Hollow is back. You going to trade Hollow here today? It looks like we're gapping up just slightly here in the pre-market, sitting right around that VWAP. Hollow, YOLO, JOLO. We going on this one today?
Man, I look at the daily chart and it's like a heart monitor. I'm not sure. I don't know how much life this thing has left in it, but no, this thing will probably do just fine with how NVIDIA is I guess tied to it. Launches convertible notes. Okay, I didn't look at anything regarding what the movement is today. So if there's a setup and it's liquid enough, there will be probably trades for me to take, but that's been the issue with this one, is that it's just has such a spread in the price action that it's easy to get killed in this one or make a killing. So if the trade's there and for me and my trade style, then I'll just take a stab at it.
Okay, sounds good there. Question here from Transitions, Stages of Growth. Interesting handle. What ETF did 13 buy? I don't think he bought any of them.
I did.
Yet.
I mentioned.
Did you? I apologize.
No, it's IEMG.
IEMG. All right, let me see if I can bring that up here really quick. IEMG. This is the emerging markets ETF that you were just speaking about. Actually, this has a really great daily chart formation, to be quite honest with you.
And 2 out of their 3 heaviest weighted holdings are Samsung and TSM, both of which I want. And I specifically wanted this one because of that. I want exposure to those 2 specific companies. So that's why I chose this one. There's others that have that exposure, but I think with the discussion that I had with my advisor and whatnot, that this is the one that we decided was the best one for my portfolio. So it might be different for y'all, but this is the one I wanted.
Okay. Really good stuff. Let me keep rolling down the list here real quick. We already talked a little bit about this when we talked about NVIDIA. Micron here. Actually, if we look at this daily chart, look at this, dude. We just broke into these new all-time highs. I'll be honest with you, 13. These charts look strong, and it makes me want to trade them. But at the exact same time, I'm like, how did we move so far so fast without a pullback? The last thing that I want to do is buy right as the stock starts pulling back. Sure looks like we're at a spot for that. Micron looking good here. You tell me if you're are you looking to buy any of these at the highs, even for a day trade?
For a day trade, like I said, if there's something that sets up and looks like I can just be in and out of it in that same day and be good, I'll take those trades. But I'm not going to be holding or going long for an extended period of time on any of these that are making new all-time highs. I think this would be the time to sell, in my opinion.
Okay. All right, let's keep rolling down the list here real quick. FFIE, this has been a recent one. This is not yet back to Jay's buy spot of 5 cents, but it is on its way. We'll see when it gets there. It's popping here a little bit, but don't be fooled here. It's actually not even able to get over its pre-market highs, nor its intraday high from yesterday. Those are some of the levels that we're going to be watching. Already talked about Micron and AMD. ETRN, this is Equitrans midstream here. This popping up here. I actually didn't see if there was any news on this. No fresh news on this one. Looks like this is just kind of moving on some momentum here this morning. TQQQ, NVAX. This is another one that we should talk about. We've talked about this one recently. All of the vaccine names had a really big move yesterday. NVAX, no different. So far, actually trading up here a little bit more today. Looks like this might want to break 1650 for a potential upside day trade. We'll see if it is able to hold this level. Really quickly, I guess, I know we've only got like 4 minutes left here. We should probably check in on some of the memes. GameStop here, so far holding 21. We'll see. It is curly. It's done. I feel like it's done this every pre-market the past several sessions. It has started to curl up in that pre-market session, and that really has been the high of the day. So let's see here if GME ends up going. I think that this trade is probably over, at least for now. I'm with Jay Rice here. All of these trades are much harder at this point. AMC holding the $5 level.
Yeah, the environment that existed back when these were, just going crazy, just doesn't exist anymore. So we're not gonna see that kind of movement again. We'll see the volatility like we've had, but if there's an expectation that we're gonna be going back up to those 2021 highs, I think that's misguided.
Yeah, so do I. That run, I think, was unique. Might we get some other runs here where people kind of squeeze or maybe trade up on it? Yeah, we might, but I don't know that that's going to mean all of a sudden we have these gigantic moves here again. By the way, that AMC chart, obviously they did some reverse splits since then, so that is adjusting some of those numbers. Okay, folks, did you have anything else you wanted to cover before we get started? I'm sorry, 13, I didn't mean to run you over there.
It's okay. Just one thing that I'm kind of looking into, because I think it could be an emerging theme. With how much AI has been on a rip with just everything all year, and since last year, really. I tend to think that the whole purpose is to kind of replace the human presence in a lot of companies with AI, and that's just the first step. The next step would be to bring AI into the physical realm with robotics. So I think advanced robotics is really something that we should be looking at for the next big theme to come off the back of NVIDIA. Okay. So robotics is something that I'm looking into for some potential themes going forward.
Okay. Will do. Let's go ahead. We are getting close here. Let's see. We are 1 minute and 30 seconds until we actually open here. Is there anything else that you've... Oh, EBS. I'm sorry. You guys did mention that, and I glossed right over it. I apologize. Here is ticker EBS. Remember, this has actually been a really great runner for us recently. This is holding 5 here. It's on the backside of this move. We'll see if this can actually kind of trade up today. This does look like this has come off the bottom. This right here gives you an idea of how quickly this moved from about $1.73 up to this $5 handle, and this took less than a month here. So a little bit of a pullback and a hold here, probably really healthy for EBS. Might give you another opportunity to add this before it sets some new highs. We'll see if EBS maintains its strength. Good morning. We got some more people filing in here. Good morning. Hope you all are doing well.
It looks like it could get more upside. It just had a golden cross earlier this week.
Yeah, no, definitely. And like I said, sometimes these pullbacks after these big runs, this is actually the best possible scenario. And that's where we're at here with EBS. Yeah,
Jay, you're absolutely right. I agree with you too. I think it's just, that's why I'm just exploring it, because I want to, see what companies are doing right now. And maybe there might be some companies that are so far ahead that, and they're maybe like a penny stock that might be worth maybe just putting a little bit of money into and seeing what happens. But you're right. We're still early. I'm just exploring the themes.
Here's another one moving on the back of NVIDIA, also has its own newsprint here. This is AMAT, Applied Materials, ticker AMAT. Good morning, stay focused. Appreciate you mentioning this. We're about to open here. U.S. Commerce Department grants $75 million to Absolix for semiconductor faculty or facility in Georgia. Excuse me. And what is going on with my charts here today? Holy cow. Let me try.
NVIDIA broke all the charts.
I mean, honestly, that looks like that's what happened. I know you're joking, but for real. All right, let's take a look and see what is moving here. I am going to flip over to Trade the Pool's broker for actual trades here today. Let me go ahead and get this adjusted. Here we go. Stream is sponsored.
Sorry,
Stream is sponsored by Trade the Pool. Hang on there. If you need to get over that 25K day trading threshold, or you need some more dry powder, go ahead and check them out. They're a great group of guys. All right, 13. What are we looking at? What am I pulling up here?
I was just mentioning that AMD had a pop out of the gate. It's pulled back in. If you don't know, AMD CEO is a cousin to the NVIDIA CEO. So there is a bit of a relationship trade there.
A relationship in the literal and
figurative
sense of the word. Thank you very much. All right, Apple, interesting here off the back of that NVIDIA report. Apple, the big loser, at least so far in the trading action. Big time pullback here on Apple towards that 190. I'll see if this holds. This should actually provide a bounce at some point here today. Let's check in on Snow. They also reported earnings. Looks like they're giving that up. Wow, Snow has actually almost completely round tripped from that earnings report. Holy smokes. Let's see if this can let's see if Snow can bounce here around that 164 level. Boy, this kind of shocks me, especially on a day like today. INDI, this is the J. Rice little semiconductor stock. This looks like this was trading up in the pre-market, got sold off right at the open, but the dip buyers are back. So maybe this moves higher here. INDI.
Oh, just for a brief moment, all the Mag 7s were green. Apple had popped up into positivity, but now it's back down just slightly under. It might go back up. I mean, it seems like all this, these stocks all the Mag 7s are going to end up green today, which is something we haven't seen in a while. It's usually rotation among them. And with the fact that Apple's been running lately, that would make sense as to why it's, down compared to the others. But I don't see the Mag 7 all up like this very often. They're usually rotating among themselves. So some will be down and some will be up.
ONMD here looks like this made a move back towards its VWAP. We'll see if it ends up getting there. That might be an okay spot to open up a potential bounce trade there. We'll see if that materializes. CYTO, another one of the smaller stocks here from the list, flirting with the VWAP level at the moment. ASTI being mentioned by whiffs here. That's a penny stock for you penny players. That is moving off that VWAP though. First Solar was mentioned earlier. That's the solar stocks had a huge run recently. First Solar looks like that dip's getting bought right out of the open. Richard, good morning. Hope you're doing well. NKGM, maybe this, if it gets above yesterday's intraday high. Nothing yet here. Volume not impressive. Really want to see some of the volume flow in there. How's NVIDIA doing here? NVIDIA, here we go. Let's see. How high does NVIDIA go? 1,030 on deck here for NVIDIA.
And AMD is trying to come back.
Jason, good morning. I'm invested in a humanoid robotics company. What company is that? Let's take a look at that one. INDI coming back in here. AMD looks like this moves off the VWAP 13. This was a monster call here on AMD.
It'd be funny if Jason ends up saying, "Oh yeah, it's Tesla," because they've been working on it.
Tesla pullback here, just lost 180, but should be able to turn back up.
And it was interesting how Boston Dynamics was part of Google for a while, and they ended up, I think, selling that company to somebody else.
GCT, I know this is pretty popular amongst our group too, right, Sydney? I think you're in GCT here. This dip looks like this is getting bought early here. SPY, big pullback here. SOXL also moving lower here. Stay focused saying it's dumping. Don't understand. I think that this is probably just profit taking, right? What does SMH look like? Down a lot less. To me, that just seems like people taking profits on some of these names. NVIDIA ramping, though, through that 1030 price level. This going higher here.
And
there was thanks, Sally. Short report yesterday on GCT. Who did it? Was that any good? Was that short report any good or nah? Seems to be rebounding. So nah. What are you seeing, 13?
No, I had a thought, but I forgot. It was something we were discussing yesterday in Happy Hour, and I forgot what it was.
Lots of pullbacks here across the market. Apple, Tesla.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah, the selling. One of the things that we were talking about yesterday is if there's going to be some profit taking in NVIDIA, and I outlined that if there is going to be some big profit taking, I think it's going to be after or on or after the 24th, because that would be a year or more after NVIDIA had their when this whole AI run started. So if you're going to lock in long-term gains, those would be the dates when you would start to take profits, so you can take advantage of that tax break. That's why I'm interested in those dates.
Interesting thought there, indeed. NVIDIA, just pure strength here right out of the open. I would imagine at some point this is going to abate, but so far, another move towards the highs here. 1038, your high print on NVIDIA. Looking around the Twitter streets to see if what some of our other trading friends are doing here. NVAX, this moving to the lows. This bounced the last time this sold off. This actually bounced pretty good. See if NVAX does that again. CYTO getting mentioned by Jonathan. That is choppy here. Using the VWAP as some pretty significant resistance, though. XLF knifing down. Financials having another tough day. Man, oh man. Gladys, I love hearing this, Gladys. This is what we want to hear on the show. Loving the sound of my alerts and fill orders on NVIDIA. You can get a register ring and a one-up for that, Gladys. Book those gains. Congratulations. Today is your day.
AMD with some pretty good price action. Just hit a new intraday high of 72.15. It's really moving around now.
AMD, you think that this is a potential long here right at the VWAP on this pull?
Long for how long?
Day trade.
Oh, I don't like the way the wicks look, so maybe, but maybe not.
Yeah, I don't feel great about any new day trade here yet today. Let you know if I do. Bitcoin, by the way, just broke 70,000. Oh, no, sorry, I broke it a little bit earlier. Actually taking another leg down here. Might test 69K on the Bitcoin futures. That moving lower here. We should actually check in on Mara and Riot. Yep, those moving lower with it as well. Right here. That's literally happening as we speak.
And I know we talk a lot about it, but Palantir with a red day so far, which is fine. I'd like to see this thing down between 18 and 20 because that would be a big buying opportunity. But we'll see if that ends up getting down there. It continues to hold that 20 level.
Chuck in the street. Hey, man. Nice. We'll give you a register ring too. 25% on NVIDIA. Your day's over here prior to 10 o'clock in the morning. That's impressive stuff. Way to go, Chuck. Way to go. Looking around here, pullback still continuing in stocks like Tesla and Apple. We can continue to move to the lows here. Mm-hmm. Tesla's doing this 178.87. This was a day trading level that we've had that came in back into play yesterday. Looks like it's in play here again. Potential bounce spot here on Tesla. Apple looks like it's still kind of hunting. We'll see if it stops at this 190 area. I've got 190.02 as the actual low print of the day here. ONMD pull back to the VWAP. We'll see if we get a move here. All of these candles, all of these volume candles on the red, on the 3-minute chart are red. It's all selling pressure. MACD histogram looks like it's trying to start compressing, but I want to see that confirmed here. This still seems a little risky, ONMD, despite being at the VWAP here.
Jay Rice mentioning INTC Intel.
Oh,
Hey,
man.
you know what? If this thing goes to 25, I'll be very happy.
Hey, the last time we were buying this at 25, it was a double in a year's time. I'll take that. I'm a buyer of Intel. If this gets down to 25, currently at 31 here, not participating in the joyous day brought by NVIDIA. Dow futures, by the way, at the low. Dow at the low here. S&P pulling back. NASDAQ at the low post gap.
Yeah, so far all I've traded is AMD. Just a couple.
BNAD for you folks that were talking about Barnes & Noble yesterday. This back to penny stock territory, although it's trying to get out of there. UNG getting mentioned here by Dandelions. UNG, a little bit safer play. We talked about Boyle being the widowmaker if you want a little less juice, but still exposure to the same thesis. UNG might be your way to go. Snow also getting a mention here. Boy, Snow, man, this not only did it give up all of its earnings gains, but a green to red move on top of that. This looking poor for Snow. You know, one of the other things that we talked about on Happy Hour the last couple of times is you kind of mentioned it earlier regarding a blow off top for NVIDIA here and then potentially the market. I know it's early, and I'm not trying to necessarily make you make a call right now without all of the information, but it sure feels like, hey, maybe this is it, right? Maybe this is where we start coming back in, seeing a number of these stocks pulling back here. Apple, new lows here.
Well, for that, let me take a look at something real quick, because one of the things we've been also speaking on is the VIX and how yesterday we hit a new 4-year low.
Yep, VIX not even out of the 11 handle. It's close, testing 12, but still in the 11s.
Oh, it was much lower too. It was like in the 1150s or 1140s.
Yeah, 1152 was the low print.
Yeah. So and usually when it gets down to this low, we usually see a reversal in sentiment. And like I said, the last time that it was this low was in 4 years ago in January 2020, just before this was just as there was some concern over the coronavirus. They had just started doing lockdowns in China. We had things going on here, like the second impeachment trial. There were a lot of things that just really started to turn the market around at the same time, and I just looking for more things to help it turn around this time. So far, it doesn't seem like we have as much going on as we did back then.
ASTI getting mentioned by the group here is another penny stock. Looks like this is trading up here for you penny players. Lynn mentioning, see Jamie Dimon post above, reversal on sentiment. Jamie Dimon, here is the post. Jamie Dimon, hard landing economy news. Watch out for a sentiment change today. When our happy hour was discussing this, we talked about this as a possibility. We just said that it might not be the exact day after, right? There might be a couple of days for that exuberance to kind of wear off. Well, so far, just by looking at the prices here, it does look like we've kind of reversed a little bit. It is early, so I don't want to put the cart in front of the horse here, but it does look like sentiment is changing a little bit.
The Crow, I did see that that halt. I think it was maybe yesterday or the day before in Sizu, and it was a news pending halt, and I was like, oh no, this is going to be bad. And then I think that it started to come out that they were going to end up having to delist and wind up, and it looks like, based on the last financial information I have, there's going to be quite a bit of people losing a lot of money. Yeah, no, right. You're absolutely right, Born. Who cares about inflation? Let the good times roll. Well, what else do we have here besides the usual suspects? Oh, it looks like FFIE's found a intraday top and now coming back in a bit. AMD still has not gone higher than that high we got about 10 minutes ago.
Let me keep rolling through some of these here. Sorry about that.
No worries. But, it's interesting. The SQQQ is starting to really go up here. Maybe this is maybe no guarantee, but maybe we are seeing the blow off top.
It may. I mean, let's let that bake. Let's let that bake and materialize here. Whoa, what? Why can't I highlight comments? Man, there we go. I got all types of tech stuff going on right now. Ryan, my man, good to see you. Good to see you, Ryan. Took the day off work for my birthday. Well, happy birthday. Can we get some likes smashed up for our good friend Ryan here? Great to see you. Glad you're able to join us. Happy birthday, my man. Look, I'm gonna respect you and not sing for you. I don't want to cause everyone to leave here by trying to sing, but happy birthday, man. I hope that you have a great one.
I'm glad you said that because we really do need a new birthday song.
You don't like the traditional happy birthday, huh?
Nope. I don't
want anybody I didn't have that on my bingo card here for today. That's
no, we need a new song. It's flat and it irritates the hell out of me.
Okay.
I want something a little, hey, let's do the Weird Al birthday song. Why not? Why can't we do that one?
I don't even think I know what that is, but that gives me something to listen to later. Appreciate you, 13.
You're going to have a good time.
You're going to have a good time. Okay. I'll take your word for it. HNRG here. We've traded this one here before. It's Hallador Energy. This popping into a bull flag on that 3-minute. SOUN getting mentioned here by Gladys. This rolling over here.
Looks like CYTO is trying to push into the pre-market highs of 224. Needs a little bit more volume to get that done, though.
CYTO really needs to break that 220. That's been an area of resistance in the regular session as well as the pre-market session. And if that doesn't fall here, that's the next really kind of line in the sand here. Here's NVDL for those of you that were trading this one. This is that levered ETF. Looks like this is trying to go higher here. Big knife on the TLT.
Right, Ryan Christopher, you don't want me doing that, and I already have a wife. we don't want to be doing that.
AMD getting mentioned here by Tony. AMD, this was a great call here, 13. Should have taken this one out of the gate. Sydney with an interesting question. I'm actually not 100% sure on this answer. Ryan 13, how will NVIDIA split affect NVDL and others? Person turquoise writing headphones. God, what is that emoji even mean? So how is the split going to affect those? Those are just kind of.
It probably won't do a whole lot. If anything, they probably have to unload some shares, I would think.
Yeah, I don't think the price of that changes. It's not like an option contract where you also have to change the strikes by the split amount. So I don't think that the price of NVDS and L will change. I think 13's right. It might just be the allotment. Let me know if any of you folks have gone through that.
Yeah, CYTO.
Yeah, Sally, you're right on here with this one. NVDS, this should be that if you're waiting for entry, NVDS is probably the target, right? You're waiting for this to really kind of get smacked and trying to time that reversal, if you will. NVDS would be the one to play during the pullback here. Like the thought here, Sally. SPW, Rebecca mentioning SPWR red since open. That was one of the solar names. Is the rest of solar following, or is it just SunPower? Wow, that's a nasty red candle there. First Solar doing the same thing. ENPH, same thing. Solar as a sector here pulling back after that run yesterday.
That's not great Uber news.
No, it isn't.
Apple that could actually. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just. You were about to read his news. Sorry, I was just giving you an update. Apple trying to find the bottom here, 189. Let's go with that Uber news that you were just talking about, 13.
Oh, just saying that if that's what's actually happening, that there's other implications besides just the stock price going down. That's criminal.
Yeah, I would agree here. The Wiss comment here, Uber down on news that they're stealing driver tips in NYC. I agree with you, 13. If they're stealing drivers' tips, this is not an NYC problem. This is a much, much bigger problem for Uber and obviously their drivers.
Looks like CYTO is really trying to get over this 210 area and make that run for 220, where there's a lot of sellers between here and that level.
220 still that area we're looking for here on CYTO. Maybe some resistance at 215.
It's holding the VWAP, so that's great. There we go. Now it's starting to move right up to 220. Perfect.
That 215 break, and now you have 220. There's some size here at 220.
Yep. That's
They're
good.
hitting
Baby.
it. There it goes. 222 right through. More size. 224. Awesome stuff here. CYTO. That curl off the View app. I'd be lightning into this move here.
Pre-market high 224. It might reverse up at that level. Actually, it's doing it now. So that was the trade. That breakout was the one to sell into. Now, if we start to get the buyers to come back in, it'll end up breaking the 224 intraday. I'm sorry, the pre-market high. It's still holding VWAP. That's great too. So just be careful with this one. The wicks it's putting in don't look great. Now let's find the next setup. Man, AMD new high of 173.14, and it doesn't look like it's finished yet.
No, it sure doesn't. This one, I should have bought this one out of the open. That was really smart. How's some of those other ones doing, like A-Lab? That big pullback here. AMD definitely the winner off this. Looking around here, lots of pullbacks. Sorry for the dead air.
It's okay. It's still breathable. Yeah, everything's not looking great.
No.
Except maybe the SQQQ. that one's doing pretty good.
ELF and MOD, two biggest earnings reversals on my list. ELF went lower yesterday, 142, printing 178.50s right now. What a reversal indeed. What was the other one? MOD?
CYTO broke out. That's new intraday highs, or broke the pre-market highs.
You sure did. CYTO, this one's got the juice here so far. Crow says CYTO out. Nice trade there, Crow.
Yep.
NXT consolidating. Sally, we took a look at NXT yesterday. NXT, huge move yesterday. And this actually traded up and then kind of sideways and then really gave you the move on the expanding volume that we look for. NXT here. This taking a break here, probably not too bad. We take a look at the daily chart. This actually sets up for a break of that high. Could probably even fill that gap up to 56.5. If this keeps rolling here, maybe add this lower. Synopsys was the other one that reversed, Jay. That's ticker SNPS here. Indeed, Synopsys trading looks like 30 points lower about, and then reversing here.
We are really moving with the SQQQ right now. The market's undergoing some pretty big selling.
Okay, so here we go. So the continuation off the NVIDIA trade not working here. SQQQ plus 22 cents off that 940 low.
What was check this out. What was the price that one of our folks in the happy hour was saying that he thinks we might see be a bit of a topping or the topping out area? Remember what that number was?
Of what?
NVIDIA?
No, I think it was 30, right? Or 20, right? 1,030 or 1,020.
I think he said 1,050, and
okay.
we were just $7 or $8 away.
$7 away, yeah.
That was a great call. Now, I'm not saying that we're going to completely go break down from here. It looks like it could get some support from the 1025 area, which we're almost down to. We break through that, then it starts to get a little bit more questionable. If we fall through, 1,000, or if we fall through the 1010, I don't know.
Something else to keep in mind here. Looking at SPY, we've traded 6.3 million shares in the SPY today. That's it. So this move here, this is clearly happening on low volume.
Yeah, it's I don't want to say sleepy, but it feels like everything's tired. Like S&P 500 the SPY is now down under 530. What do we do? Swin is halted down. What is this one about? Sullivan Holdings is what? Oh, well, it's a company in Hong Kong. Primarily related to providing services for investment advisory service and asset management service to customers. Their market's not doing too well, is my understanding. So
SPY did go red. Stay focused. Indeed. SPY green to red move here. We'll see if it bounces off that pivot here. But yep, SPY went red. This is good.
Oh man. Well, let's see how this looks on a daily chart. I have no open trades right now.
Snoopy, snow cones, and more. You'll love to use topping narrative. While this looks just like a simple pullback for a buying opportunity before it rips back up in the next few days, that is going to be the $64,000 question, right? Is this actually just an opportunity to buy? Place your bets, folks. Place your bets.
Well, I think there's a lot of sentiment writing on the split, which we've discussed before. That if when they do split, which is going to, I guess it takes effect on the 7th, and the new shares will be in everybody's account, or the adjustment will be in everybody's account by the 10th. We've seen some of these other big names do a split, and usually what happens is they'll end up trading down for a time before they turn around and make new highs. So I would think that initially we end up trading down post split before we go higher.
I'm relying on that very action for Chipotle when that does its 50 for 1 split that's coming right around the corner here. And I agree with you, 13. This is actually exactly what I witnessed an Apple when Apple split when I took my initial position. Walmart did the same thing.
Yeah.
Little bit of a dip and then a drift up here. Walmart continuing to move higher. So 13, that is the play for me. I'm definitely looking to add some NVIDIA and some Chipotle post those splits. BCG halted here, mentioned by Alec. BCG halted to the upside. That is, let me check on Pro here. Indeed, confirm that is halted to the upside. Good stuff there. Ooh. NKGN getting mentioned by the group. Are we finally getting some stuff to play here? NKGN, nice pop on volume there.
Look at AMD. Good. That's not
AMD big time reversal. INDI, this little guy, this gave up everything that it made here this morning, back down to even. ELF, this still moving higher. World ranked. Any thoughts on stocks that might announce a stock split? Well, we've seen the pattern here, right? So we just saw one on NVIDIA. We actually just had this discussion in Happy Hour last night. Stay focused if you're out there. I think you were mentioning ASML as a potential stock that needs to split here. It's about $1,000. This one might be a good candidate for a potential split.
I would think that AVGO would be a good
Broadcom would be another one.
Basically, really, these strong companies that have a high value, high valuation, you want to get more people to buy it. There's retail traders that just don't have the stomach for these kind of valuations. They want things in the hundreds or the tens. So doing a stock split, accomplishes that. They'll get more people to push the stock valuation up higher if they can make the price more palatable for retail.
The guys are saying MicroStrategy, MSTR. This one I think is a little bit less likely to do that just because of its volatility and how it's tied to Bitcoin. Futures, by the way, still moving lower here. SPY looks like it's kind of stopped, at least temporarily. We'll see if we take another leg down here.
Oh, yeah.
Around.
Well, let's see. What are the big companies out there? I mean, I doubt it'll happen, but I think Microsoft may. I don't know. That's
DJT trading up off that initial dip here, and DJT. Thomas mentioning LRCX as a potential split here. That's Lam Research. I think you're saying that is happening in October. SMCI, another mention here by Gary. Philip saying, any tips for first getting into trading? Yes, absolutely. Check out the Benzinga Trading School or the Benzinga Option School. help build fundamentals correctly. Let me get you a link to that real quick here. That is what you should do. That is my recommendation.
CYTO, I think some folks may have mentioned it, but it's still holding the VWAP pretty good. I don't know.
Bring CYTO up here real quick, 13th.
Sure.
Here you go. There you go, Philip. Check out that link.
Looks like FFIE found a bottom or a support on the 200 EMA on the 5-minute. Kind of bounced right off that. Coming back up to VWAP, which I currently have at 130. So we'll see if we can get up there.
PDD, Pin Duo. This looks like this is marching higher here.
There you go, Ryan. How much does that Benzinga school cost?
You know what? I actually would defer to my teammate James, who is adept at finding deals for everybody. I'm sure James can find you a deal, and I don't want to speak on his behalf. Let me give you his email. Anyone interested in one of these? Let me get you his email real quick.
And
guys are making me work this morning, baby. I love it.
And is that because there are different programs for different things with learning trading, so that if there's a certain style somebody's after, he recommends what classes you should take?
Yeah, well, first of all, James is extremely knowledgeable about the entire suite of services that we offer, and he's hell-bent on making sure that you get in the right product. I mean, let's face it, if you buy something that doesn't work for you, you're going to be unhappy with that. So the first step in making a happy consumer is putting them in the right product, and James is adept at that. But the other thing that James is adept at is he's very, very savvy when it comes to price. He understands that finding sale. We have Memorial Day coming up, so I don't want to speak on behalf of. Wouldn't want to tell somebody, hey, here's what the price is, only for them to see a price that's $100 lower the next day. That makes me look like a moron. So I'm going to put him in James's hands. We're going to figure out what the best possible price is. We'll get you on that. There's anyone that has a question on any of our services, James's email is in the chat. Go ahead and check it out.
Elf could make a move here. It's still holding the VWAP pretty well, and it's just kind of going sideways. A little bit of burst of volume might help push this into new intraday highs. Current one is 181.53. Okay. Looking for some trades here. Looking for some
ONMD
trades.
Getting mentioned. That moved through its VWAP. Let's see if this goes here. No trades yet for me today. I'm kind of testing
that's
the water
okay.
still here. Yeah,
that's okay, because I thought I wasn't going to do any trading today. I honestly thought that, because I wasn't sure how we were going to, how this day was going to start out, and AMD sounded like a good idea, so I just paid attention to that one. I guess it was lucky that that was like the one that did pretty well this morning out of the gate. But there was a bit of a relationship trade in that. So
I thought that was pretty good. INDI here, that small semi, really rough day here. A lot of these semis going green to red. Nvidia still holding above its VWAP. This one really hasn't broken down yet.
All right. Well, FFIE is almost back to its VWAP. So if you pick that up on its bounce, you're probably doing all right. Elf Beauty still looks like it wants to go higher. What is, consumer discretionary is one of the ones that I think is going to end up, one of the sectors I think is going to end up doing pretty good in the second half of the year. That one, industrials and utilities. AMD really, really going low. Almost a $10 move.
Folks, I actually just reached out to James to see if I could get him to join our group here. He actually told me he's on the phone, but he wants to talk to each and every person that is interested. So he gave me permission to give out his phone number. So here you go. James' phone number in the chat here. If you are looking for anything Benzinga related, he is available all day today to help you out.
He's quite a guy.
He is quite a guy, actually. He's very interesting fellow too. Obsessive about the market too. That's one of the things that we do here is we actually hire people that are literally obsessive about this. It makes for, let's put it this way, the side conversations that we have at work are almost all popping. The side conversations have actually made me money at work. Yeah. So really just an awesome environment to be in start to finish.
I'm always, like I told you before, I'm always.
Hey, look at this. James is the man that hooked me up. I'm going to tell him you said that. He's going to love that. He's going to love that. Bourne says just like Santa. Nick says James is great. Okay, awesome. So you guys have experience. Okay, cool. So I'm not the only one experienced with James. That's good. That is good.
Like I told you before, I'm always on the lookout for the next X spot. So if we can find those, I'll definitely be bringing them here.
That sounds like a Independence Day quote, kind of modified for the situation. I'm always on the hunt for the next ex-wife. What's his name what's his character's name in that movie?
Oh gosh.
Oh gosh.
Was that
Oh no, it's Jurassic Park. I'm always on the hunt for the next ex Mrs. Malcolm. Same actor though, Jeff Goldblum. I got that one. I see where you pulled that one. That's pretty awesome. Okay. OMD, you guys mentioned sorry for going down the film road there. ONMD, we talked about this one recently, popped into an upside halt, confirmed per Benzinga Pro. That is halted here to the upside. Awesome stuff. You guys staying focused here while we're joking around about movie quotes. That's what I like to hear.
You're doing good if you did that trade the VWAP on FFIE. That thing is now through it.
Smart guy, just with absolute comedy here today. This James guy has a lot of street cred. I'm going to send that to him too. That is an awesome comment. In fact, we are literally talking about you right now.
You're a celebrity on live trading. Look at Boyle. Boyle boiled over. Man, FFIE, what a great bounce off the 200 EMA.
Okay, let me focus here. I'm having too much fun here today.
See what happens when you don't trade.
Well, I mean, look, no, I'm happy, right? I'm not getting slapped around. You're absolutely right about that. Absolutely.
Hey, though, Wolf might be turning around. Sorry.
Wolf?
Mm-hmm.
More importantly here, I'm not seeing stuff that I really like, right? Mm-hmm. And because of that, I'm not forcing myself to do something for the sake of doing something. And that's, to me, that's a win by itself, right? I still have stocks that I'm holding, right? I still have my main swing account. I just haven't done any day trades yet here today. And I'm okay with that. A lot of the stuff really giving up its gains and going negative. Not just giving up its gains, but actually going negative. VIX, by the way, popped from that 1150 level that you were talking about earlier, 13, up to 12. That happened fast. And we've been talking a lot about, hey, if you're going to get any type of insurance or protection for your portfolio, you got to do it while that's cheap, because when this starts to go against you, that happens fast, and that protection is no longer cheap. NVIDIA ripping again. Let's take a look here at NVIDIA. Looks, I don't know if I would call that ripping. It is moving up off the VWAP. Volume continues to decline or compress. That's called discipline, says Lynn. Indeed. Even NG faded. So even the natural gas move. Look at this. Great call. Jay, I actually took this off my screen. I appreciate you. UNG here moving to the lows.
Yeah, I was just saying a moment ago that Boyle boiled over.
Oh, okay. Sorry, my bad. I did not catch that one. UNG here moving to the lows, though. That was quick, Bourne. Indeed, quick move to the lows here.
So Boyle actually bouncing off its 200 EMA on the 5-minute. I'm not sure I'd try a bounce, though. I don't like the way these other EMAs are bearing down on it.
This ELF reversal to the highs, this looking awesome. Looking awesome.
Yeah,
NKGN ripped to the highs. This traded above 2.
And there's the FFIE knife. That was the trade all the way up to VWAP.
CYTK didn't bounce at all. Here is your FFIE rejected from VWAP. We'll see if it reclaims it here. Yeah, Benjamin saying, yeah, splits. I check the splits calendar on Seeking Alpha every day. Is there a better way? I love Lynn's suggestion of getting that info into BZ. Yes, BZ does have that calendar. In fact, 13 uses that splits calendar all of the time. I actually have, one of the things that I'm doing here on the side is I actually have something going on with my specific account at the moment. Let me see if I can show that here for you. Let me try something here real quick. Sorry for the dead air here, 13.
No worries. Let me see if I can find stuff to rant about.
Rant about. All right.
All right. So UNG and Boyle still hovering around their 200 EMAs on the 5-minute chart. Where'd my Boyle go? There it is. So that's still hanging out there. AMD still going lower, might be indicating that it's slowing down this selling. I'm watching the MACD for some curling if that's the case. What other things we're looking at today? INTC. Oh gosh, if we're under 30, that'd be beautiful. Not yet.
Hey, I fixed it here, 13. I fixed it. That's the problem when you're trying to do too many things at once. You get lost in the sauce. But nonetheless, I resolved my temporary error that was prohibiting my calendar from displaying. So we're going to do a couple of things here real quick just to kind of finish up. I'm going to go back to NVIDIA. Earlier, 13 was talking about how on NVIDIA's earnings, this is basically going to be a commercial real quick here for the calendar tool in Benzinga Pro because it's effing awesome. Here's NVIDIA, right? I just pulled it up in the details tool like I would any other stock. And then I clicked on calendar and clicked on earnings. And this is what 13 was talking about earlier. These surprise EPS percentage, which this is all just calculation based off the reports that our team is doing for you. These are sequentially getting smaller and smaller. And 13 also noticed that the same thing is happening with the surprise revenue. So if everything makes sense, which is not always the case, but if everything makes sense, the pop or the exuberance post earnings should continue to come in a little bit. And we are kind of seeing that here today. So 13, shout out to you for making this point earlier prior to that reversal. I'm sorry I couldn't give you the visual aid, but here it is. Looks like what you were talking about is exactly what's going on. Now, let's talk a little bit about the splits. One of the things that I do here is I actually keep a calendar workspace. Or excuse me, I keep a workspace dedicated to the calendar. That's what I was trying to say. And as you can see, there are actually 15 different calendars in Pro. One of them is splits. So let me make sure I get your name right real quick. Where is this? How did I lose this? Benjamin, excuse me. That's because it moved off my screen. Benjamin, let me know what type of information you need from the split. What we're looking at here are splits in a particular date range. That date range is, of course, customizable. And obviously, you can sort on any of these column headers. It will show reverse splits, forward splits. You can filter them, the whole 9 yards. So let me know if that's helpful. That stuff is already in Pro. Now, let me go back and let's get back to the actual trading here. FFIE still struggling to get above its VWAP. Synopsis, you trimmed some, Jay. What happened? Oh, that reversal that moved it to the highs. MTC moving lower here. That penny stock continuing to move lower.
Yeah, Sally, that calendar function has a lot of different useful information on there. You can see the secondary offerings, SEC filings, unusual options activity, the squawk, which is new. Lots of great stuff on there. I find myself using it more and more every day.
Yeah, and that's the thing. One of the things that I've kind of talked to the team about is I say, guys, I think we have a problem. Most people think of a calendar and think, yeah, this is what you use to figure out what day it is or what's going on that day. And that's true. But like the way that the calendar works in Pro is that it allows for all of this other really awesome stuff. So for example, squawk transcription, which is something that we've been asked for since I've been a teammate here. We finally have that. The first iteration is here in the calendar. Check out this drop-down list. A lot of stuff in here that can be really, really helpful. The FDA calendar, by the way, we basically have the same information as Biopharma Catalyst in the calendar here. And obviously putting it in the calendar allows you to sort and search for things. So for example, if I just wanted to put a ticker in here like EYPT, I can do that and it will show me all of the stuff for that particular ticker. You can do this with any of the calendars that have tickerization and any stock that you might want to look into. So I use these calendars all the time. And really quickly, let me show you something else. You guys want a little bit of a bonus here? How about this? Let me try on the beta, because I'll give you a little tease about something that's coming soon here. Meantime, I'll bring the trading platform up, but let's have some fun here and tease some cool stuff coming.
Robert C., real quick. I think I'm just going to say that for me personally, that it is over, and with an asterisk there for now. I don't know that this is going to be over forever, but I would say that that there's not as much attention being put on those two stocks at the moment. And great call by, I think it was, yes, Market Sniper for BCG. I'm on this one with you, and it's doing really well, but I've already scaled out of most of it, and I'm almost done.
Real quick here, just wanted to cover some new things here. So first of all, anyone that is a Pro subscriber, you also have access to our beta website, which is where we are testing all of the new features that you folks have asked for. So something that Lynn and Randy have been asking for a long time is a customizable heat map. So that's pretty much done here. You can actually use this right now. And one of the things that I did here is I basically made a heat map of the S&P 500, the Dow, and the NASDAQ. And I have a market overview at a glance here in heat map view. So let me know if you think this is helpful at all. This is something that Pro can do. We're actually going to expand the capabilities of this as well. I'm working on creating like a sector view here, which is basically going to be a heat map based on some of these different the spider ETFs that follow the different sectors. I want to be able to get some of this information at a glance, and I'm currently trying to build a graphical way to look at financial reports like balance sheets, income statement, and the statement of cash flows. You can see one of the graphs here is actually not drawing it. I don't think I have the correct stuff plotted, but I'm trying to make this easier to synthesize information about trading. And, there's a lot of new features that are going to kind of come along with this when we're able to deploy this. So shout out to you. And shout out to our development team, which is really trying to meet the needs of everybody, which is no easy task. If you've ever tried that, you know how hard that is. Okay. ONMD is trading again. That is unhalted here. Indeed, that actually pulled back to the. Tell you what, do we get another opportunity here? 127, that VWAP price. Let's see if we can actually get down there and bounce from that spot.
Marcus Sniper had a great call on BCG.
Let me bring that up here real quick while we're waiting on OND. BCG, Bravo, Charlie Golf. Indeed, what's going on here? This is the expanding volume we look for all the time.
Mm-hmm. No, he had shouted that out when it was still hanging around VWAP. So I looked at it, liked it, and decided to take a stab at it. I'm not in anymore. The trade, gotcha. I think the trade that we were going for, which was he mentioned 720. I got out a little bit earlier than that. And this is for good reason too, because it's now suspended or halted.
I was going to say this is now halted here. Thank you, Benzinga. Nick saying, Ryan, you're so comprehensive with this Pro stuff. Thanks, buddy. You're welcome, first of all. But second of all, remember, Pro is the tool. Like I paid for this before I worked here. I paid for this because this was the tool that made things easier for me. And I'm not some like silver spoon trading expert that inherited a bunch of money. Like I'm just like you guys. I'm a regular guy that said, you know what? I want to use the stock market to my advantage. I got to teach myself how to do it. And so that journey kind of helped me learn about different tools. And the one that has far and away stood above all others is Benzinga Pro. So I take it seriously. It's not just a It's not just a job, but it's also a passion. And if you folks are passionate about the market and you need help, the tools that you use are going to play a big role in the amount of help that you get. So that's why I come from that spot, Nick. So I appreciate you saying that. All right. Let's take a look and see what else is going on here. Elf, that is still holding higher. Let me see what our other trading friends are doing. How's INOD doing? That AI play after this AI craze. Okay, INOD dipped a little bit, but is resolving higher here. SPY, by the way, bounced off that 529. A Snoopy or whoever that was talking about this being a buyable dip. So far, that has proven to be the case. VIX kind of cooled off. It was trading back up, but that is kind of settled here just above 12.
The uranium names are looking interesting. The volume's not great, but they've actually found a bottom and came back up. UU, and CCJ are the two ones that I've noticed that in.
CCJ, man, if I can get this under 50 again, that's going to be great. NXT back to VWAP. This thing has been a mover. Okay, so this is actually kind of consolidating a little bit. Yesterday was the big move here. What is this? What is this again? I keep getting this confused with a different one. Next tracker. Let me go to the overview here. And its subsidiaries, leading provider of intelligent integrated solar tracker and software solutions used in utility scale and distributed generation of solar projects around the world. Cool.
So that kind of tracks the sun and turns the solar panels in their direction. Is that what they do?
I think so. Next tracker products enable solar panels in utility scale power plants to follow the sun's movement across the sky and optimize plant performance. This to me seems like a really good way to kind of make solar as efficient as possible, given its limitations. It is operations in the United States, Mexico, Spain, and other countries in Europe, India, Australia, the Middle East, Africa, and Brazil. This is a multinational corporation that is, you know what? Wait a sec. I think I figured out another issue here. Okay. Yes, it's like Array, but better financials. Sally, that's really great, actually. I'll take better, especially in a market environment like this. Give me the better financials. That's the one I want. Giddy up. That's why I was so grateful to have Tim Melvin on. I can't wait to have him on next week. I love the idea, especially now, especially given the environment. Now we're sitting here talking, is the market blowing off? Is this a blow off top? Is the market coming back in? Yada, yada, yada. Guess what? I want stocks that are going to appreciate and pay a dividend during that time frame. Yes, please. Yes, please.
I want the market to go higher, so I want the blow off top to come back in.
Yeah,
so
exactly, right? You want to be able to buy quality companies at discounted rates and then have those appreciate. Emiliola saying, Ryan in 13, by the way, good morning. Great to see you here today. What do you guys think about all stock market trading 24 hours? This is an interesting question. I think that is going to lead to more heart attacks. That's what I think. And I honestly, look.
And less sleep.
And Leslie, for me personally, like there's something to be said for kind of just putting the market and the financial world down for a minute and going to touch grass or spend time with your family or doing something that kind of takes your mind off of it. By making all stocks 24 hours, you are going to have people and teams and businesses. It is going to be nonstop. And I worry about that. The other thing here, and we see this with pre-market versus regular session trading, the volume discrepancy. Volume tells the story in almost every case. And the volume discrepancy between the after hours or overnight sessions versus the regular session is tremendously different. So I think you're going to have some outsized moves that end up get correct. I think it could be messy. I'm okay with there being a break. Despite being addicted, I'm okay with there being a break. A break from the market keeps you sane. Thank you. At least somebody else feels the same way I do. Could not agree with you more, Joe.
We already see that with crypto. So I would start to, draw on that. Look, see how that's affected trading and affected the people who trade it, because that's, you can always trade that every day, all day. So I think that would be a good place to start and kind of get an idea of what could, happen if you had a 24-hour market. like the Bitcoin market is. I personally don't know that it's a great idea. I think that there's going to be, it just opens the door for even more corruption. Looks like BCG is open and going higher. And there it goes. Bye-bye. And it's also like, okay, so what's going to be the behavior with people like that? Are you going to start, following the schedules of when the CEOs of the companies you're in wake up and go to sleep? Because when it comes to Elon Musk, that's Tesla is Elon Musk, and Elon Musk is Tesla. So everything he does, even when the market's closed, would then now be something that people are going to watch for moves in the stock of 24 hours. So it's just I think it causes more problems than
that's kind of where I'm at. I think the calculus puts me in the more problems than benefits column, if you will. I'm with you, 13.
But hey, maybe AI will take care of your account for you while you sleep.
Well, that's the other thing that I think that's the next question, right? Because we're sitting here talking about how is it actually going to affect the humans? Well, how's it going to affect the people that design algorithms to trade automatically for them? Right now, it's going to be running the entire day. I mean, hard for me to predict the future. I think it can go both ways on this one.
I mean,
and I do think algorithmic based trading, especially like for the individual, I think that's going to proliferate. I think there's something there, honestly. Jonathan saying my broker is rolling out 24-hour trading, but that's only going to be for certain instruments. I think the question here is, what if all instruments were that?
Yeah, the exchanges have to be open.
Yeah.
I'm just looking around for things. I mean, it's kind of fun to watch the market kind of freak out and fall, but I still want to trade. CYTO and AMD have been the winners.
I was going to say the disconnection here between AMD and NVIDIA is vast, right? I mean, look at NVIDIA doing a really good job, just kind of holding above its VWAP. Now, we're not having this huge outsized run post earnings in the regular session here to trade up a little bit, but it's doing a really good job kind of holding there. AMD hunting for a bottom.
Yeah, oh, and BCG was another good one today too. So 3 companies I've traded today.
Which one? NV? What was that?
It was AMD, BCG, and CYTO. Those are the ones.
CYTO, right? That was the decent one earlier.
BCG looks like it's still trying to push higher.
Angry Sushi, love the handle there. Saying SMH looking weak here. This was holding higher with that NVIDIA move. This look like this is kind of moving beneath the VWAP here. Also setting lower highs. I would agree with you.
Gladys, AI loyalty. I certainly hope people don't go that route. If anything, AI should be loyal to us.
Yeah.
If that's what you mean.
Well said. No, I think what you mean is like NVIDIA. One of the reasons NVIDIA outperforming here is because NVIDIA has been an AI darling and people are loyal to the products that have done well for them. And that makes a lot of sense to me. But I'm with you. I think that it's more important that AI is loyal to the human beings. But also, I mean, companies are going to make the decisions that make the most amount of sense. And if someone creates a better AI product that's going to allow that company to do better, then I think they're going to go with that. And I would expect that.
Benjamin, it's for me, Wix is, when you get a number of them and they're very, very long, they tend to indicate to me weakness.
EWM community. I guess we can talk about this. We talk about this often in happy hour. Good morning, guys. Another great show. Thank you. Thanks for joining us here. I had a quick question. Besides SQQQ and UVXY, is there another good way to short the market overall? Okay, so a couple of things here. So first of all, SQQQ is a synthetic tech or NASDAQ short, right? So your instrument appreciates as the QQQ index or ETF moves down, right? So it's a synthetic short, if you want to get technical. UVXY is just the volatility, right? So the volatility index, as that goes higher, your UVXY should go higher. And as the volatility moves down, UVXY should move down. The volatility will increase in a sell-off, but the volatility can go up on up days too. So that's not even technically a market short, although you can use it when the market is selling off. One of the other things that you can do is you can actually look into option contracts, right? So you can look into maybe buying puts on individual stocks or indices like the SPY or the Qs or the DIA or whatever it is that you're trying to short. You can go that way. I guess you could create a synthetic short by selling upside calls that hopefully you would never have to cover. Lots of different ways. I would say if the chat has their favorite way of taking out market shorts or synthetic market shorts, let our community know here how you're doing it.
And good morning to Smoke Tuna, Beach Bum, and Easy Mike. All three of you just kind of showing up here. It's great to see you. We are trying to find some trading ideas or things.
Indeed.
And it looks like BCG has now halted to the downside. So that was a good one.
And this is another thing here. Ryan bringing up in terms of AI. In my opinion, AI in the stock market will exponentially affect gains and losses. You would see higher highs and lower lows, and all in a faster time frame since AI can react on the microsecond scale. So there's a huge part of this that I agree with. The more that goes to algorithmic based AI trading, it's going to be faster than you. That's absolutely correct. It's going to be faster than you, and it's likely going to make the amplitude of the moves, both in the positive and negative direction, larger. Would have more swings in a shorter time frame. That would be more volatility. I think that the other aspect here is that there's still a market to be had here, and I think that humans will still play a significant role even with the algos. And I think that, even with algos, you can change what they're looking for. I don't know. I don't know how that's going to work out. I see the thesis there, and I agree with it on the surface. I still think that there's going to be a place for humanity. I
tend to think that with AI as it is, that it's still bound by certain sets of rules and limitations.
Indeed,
including how they are supposed to, trade these equities. There's no real reasoning built into AI yet. So if they can't generate an idea and go, I'm going to get into this before anybody else, and it's going to take off in X number of days. They don't do that. It seems to me like AI is still on more of the reactive side, but they tend to react quicker than we can. I think if, to Ryan's point, if we're going to be, still have humans trading this market, which I totally think that we will, it's going to be a matter of just trying to get to where the AI is going to send the puck before they send it. That makes sense.
Purgatory Park bringing up the ability here for AI to backtest strategies as well. NVIDIA set new highs here. NVIDIA, that is just continuing to move higher here. Interestingly, the market's still lower, right? That's the SPY is green, but pretty much right at flat. The NASDAQ pulled back. That's still green here, but hasn't really broken out of its pullback formation. Let me bring up the Qs here so we can take a look at that.
NVIDIA
still
is the
using
market.
the VWAP. Say that one more time.
NVIDIA is the market now.
I mean, look, there's like 10 good stocks in the market. The rest of them are all junk. And that's part of the reason why I think that why I'm actually waiting for a pullback. I'm not like rooting for companies to fail. I'm not rooting for people to make money. I want a reset of some of the craziness that is spreading through this market.
Oh, went short Dow.
What's the thesis on a Dow short there? Just
Lay it on.
curious, and I don't think it's bad. I'm just curious.
Yeah, I'm on that plane too there, Nick. It's, eventually it could end up being that, but we're still a ways away from being in a position where it could totally replace humans in trading. I think there's still a lot of work left to be done.
NVIDIA new highs here going for 1,045.
Elf made new highs. For such an exciting day, we have some pretty significant pockets of silence, and it's because we're still trying to figure out what other trades there are. And it's just like, well, do we want to get in on this Nvidia train or not? I personally don't want to.
No, I mean, and to me, 13, it's all about entry, right? Like the trade, the new trade, the new day trade here, all about entry. Can you get good entry on? Looking at the SPY here, we've traded 10.4 million shares versus $66 million or a million share average. I don't know, man. I don't see a whole lot of setups in here. I'm open to suggestion. If you folks see setups, I'd love to hear it. I don't see them though.
I'd be okay with just not having any more trades today. That was a pretty decent morning, all things considered. Yeah. Ooh, G-Wave. This was something we were talking about yesterday. This looks like it double topped in the after hours and pre-market.
That was that penny stock G-Wave, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Let's see here real quick. Let me bring that up. Yeah. What's rolling over here?
It might start to be interesting in about $30 is Lululemon.
Got a potential trade here on Lulu?
Well, it's continuing to go down. We talked about how bad this one was going to get smacked, and it's still continuing to get smacked. And I still think it will keep on getting smacked until it gets lower than probably down at closer to 250. What's up?
I was just going to say, I glanced up at the TV here. It looks like ticker LYV, Live Nation. DOJ files suit against Live Nation over alleged antitrust violations. This was news from this morning. I guess I'm just taking a look at it now. Looks like this tried to bounce here, but lost its VWAP. This testing some of the lows. This might go lower here. VKTX may have bottomed. That would be interesting, Jay Rice. That, and you know what else? If we look at this daily chart here, this would be a great bottom for this. You know what? This would be a really, really great place for this to bottom because this actually still keeps that island trade in play.
Yeah, I mean, well, Danielle, it seems like NVIDIA is really the only one that's on the semis front that's doing, pretty good today. I mean, AVGO is up, but some of these other ones are down, like Intel's down, AMD's down. Is Apple still down? Yeah. So unless it's NVIDIA or directly, or hasn't reported earnings yet, like AVGO, they're down.
Looking around
about Diz
at the Twitter streets here.
What's going on with Disney? So I got a notification about Disney. Remember when we talked about the gap filling in Disney, the one from February? It's almost there. Not too much further to go.
Nope. And in fact, if we could take a look at that right here, I've got that at 99.42. Let's call it 99.5.
And what's interesting too is how we're in oversold territory. So we feel that gap. There could be a pretty good buying opportunity in Disney for a swing.
FFIE here ripping right through the VWAP on volume. I'd actually like to see this volume stick grow a little bit more. But good action here in FFIE so far. Broke out of its little consolidation area.
We are getting a Smoke Tuna telling us about AUUD.
HNRG up against that 7 level. Here is the AUUD chart that ripped here.
Wonder if there's some news. Maybe it's just a pump. I don't see anything.
Fairchild. This is one of the things that we've been discussing here. I don't think this is a new question. I think everyone wants to know this. Everyone looks for this or asks themselves this. After the split, Will NVIDIA shares get a pop or business as usual? Well, first of all, I don't really know what business as usual means in your context, so I'm actually going to change this to will it pop or drop?
This is business as usual. It's going up.
Yeah, it's all it does is pop, it seems. That's business as usual. Well, 13 did a good job talking about this earlier. This is something that I saw when I really first started legging into Apple for investment purposes years and years, actually 10 plus years now, 10 years ago now. After a split, especially when the stock is extremely popular, extremely well owned, and extremely expensive, you will often see if, like, let's say it's a retail trader, right? And they go from 400 shares to 1,200 shares in a 3-to-1 split. They might want to book some of those as gains, right? Like you might want to sell some of that, use that money to deploy to another position. Institutions, funds, they normally have an allotment. They can't have too much of their portfolio a specific stock. So a split might take them over their allotment. They might have to sell for that reason. Might have just been in it for a long time. Maybe it's time to take some gains. So I think after you get that split, one of the things that happens often is the price dips a little bit as people take profit. And then as that exhausts, the business as usual, as you say, takes back over and it inevitably goes higher. This is exactly what we saw in Apple. This is exactly how I'm going to trade Chipotle and how I'm going to attempt to trade NVIDIA as well. This is a really good question, Fairchild.
Yeah, and some of the data you can look at for yourself if you want to look at that. Get all the the Mag 7s or the really strong companies and looking when they did their reverse splits and see how the price action developed after their split in the days and weeks following it. More times than not, you're going to see that the price went lower for a period of time before it came back up and made new highs. So that would kind of be where I'm at with NVIDIA as well. I think it's gonna probably end up trading lower post split and then come back and make new all-time highs. Can't say what the time frame will be with that, but that's the price action I'm expecting with their split.
Jabby B, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Thank you for becoming a new member. Welcome. Hope that you enjoy your time here. Fairchild, you're more than welcome, man. Great question. Great discussion item. Around here, what's going on? Boy, FMC. Where's Lion Atlas today? Must be busy. I think he was traveling the other day. FMC, though, moving lower here. This coming back to its 50-day moving average.
Good. Load me up. Split list yesterday. Well, hey man, why don't you come join us in happy hour and maybe share that? You don't have to, but that's not a bad idea at all. Oh, look at FFIE. We are back above VWAP now. Maybe this tries to take out or go for the intraday high of 147. That's a good point, Gladys. Costco probably should do one.
Yeah, I agree with that. I, as someone that loves Costco and wants to own more Costco and consistently forgets to buy Costco when it gets sold off, I'd love for this to be cheap or cheaper. Yeah. I'd love for this to have a lower share price. I
had limit orders out for Costco that I was really hoping to get filled, and this was down when it was around $400. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to get this under 400. And they never filled. And now look at it. It's 2x. Yep. Like SOB, Yeah, there goes rent. Great call.
So Jay here, I wanted to kind of get a little bit more on this. So Jay here saying AMD, wow, red here. Same as Intel. We actually showed this earlier as they were coming back in. Jay saying the market's saying that these are way behind the tech of NVIDIA. And so I would agree with that. So here's the thing, though, Jay. Do you think that this means that we're due for like a market-wide pullback, or is it just business as usual? NVIDIA is just better than you, or better than these other companies?
NVIDIA told you they have the demand, but not the supply. I'm seriously in this camp that they revealed a key flaw and their competitors, like some competitors, are going to catch up. I completely believe in that. It's just a matter of what time that time frame that's going to happen. I can't answer that at the moment.
They can't produce the chips. They just can't produce enough of them.
Yeah. Yeah, and that is, I mean, that's great news for TSMC, because that means their backlog's full. That's why I bought that ETF.
John with a really good question here. Appreciate this one. You think NVIDIA will replace Intel in the Dow this summer? I could see that. I could make a case for that. I think this is, I think John's onto something. I don't know that this is going to happen, but I think that this could absolutely happen. NVIDIA is the darling of the market right now. Dow likes to have the best of the best. Apple did this.
I'm not going to say it's not going to happen. I think that'd be very, very irresponsible of me. I just don't know if it will. I mean, I think maybe to your point, Intel probably will be replaced, but by NVIDIA, I don't know if they're going to be the one or not. It's possible. It's a great case.
Doesn't the Dow have a price range that they like their stocks to be in? Because when Apple joined the Dow, it was shortly after it split too. Someone help me with that. The most expensive stock in the Dow currently is is Goldman Sachs with a 460 price on it. Microsoft would be second. United Health. I beg your pardon. United Health 518. But so it's United Health, Goldman Sachs, and Microsoft, and the highest of those is 518. Most of these companies are right around $100. Coca-Cola 60, 3M 99, Nike 91.
Well, with the
Disney is 100. So I don't know. I'm trying to think out loud here. I like this question. I wouldn't be surprised if this happened. I don't know though.
That would be the $4 trillion company to join, because they already have Apple, Amazon, and Microsoft in there. Here's the other thing. I mean, you could see a company like, oh man, remember how we were talking about how 3M was going to be a really good short because of the things that we discovered in their earnings?
Mm-hmm.
Look, it's under 100 now. I mean, there's a lot of companies that we could probably make a case for that could get replaced. You could probably make a case for 3M. You could make a case for Disney. You could probably, I mean, I don't know if I would, but you could probably make a really speculative case on Boeing. But yeah, I mean, I think that's a great point that, we might see Intel or maybe another one of these get replaced by something better, and it might be NVIDIA.
And to John's point there, he's expecting a push here, and I would imagine he'd get that. Yacht insurance guy in Florida, why is JAGX halted? It isn't. It's not halted. It's actually trading right now. It did do a reverse split here, 1 for 60, I believe. 1 for 60 reverse split. JAGX, JAGX.
Let's take a look. Ooh. Let me see what's going on with this one. Reverse split. And that's really just the only news, is that they just did a reverse split. Wonder if there's something else in there we're just not seeing. They did have, so earlier this week, they did report earnings. Let's take a look at financials. Well, they're losing millions of dollars every quarter.
Oh, that's great.
So
it's not though.
This is reflecting their recent earnings. It looks like, so they do have some cash, so there is a bit of a runway, but it looks like they only have about another quarter or two worth of disposable cash. So I guess the next thing that they would have to do is an offering, and this reverse split kind of sets it up for that. I can't exactly tell you why it's down 25% though. That seems like a pretty big move for a reverse split. But anyway, I couldn't tell you. I'm sorry, I can't find any more information on this. Hims is diving. They had a great run.
But look, man, Hims, this is almost given up the entire earnings pot. This was the earnings right all the way up to 20. Hims, if this gets back down to 15, that's basically right where it was. Excuse me, man. Spring allergies are getting me.
Well, I think you were about to say if it gets down to 1585, there's going to be a potential gap fill event happening.
Yep. And I think that might be a spot for a long there. This has got some runway with it with the whole GLP treatment that they have. You can't chase these meme stocks in reference to Hims. Spot on, Jay. Spot on. And that's the thing what's one of the things that we were talking about. If you're going to trade these meme stocks, that's why we tell you day trade only, be really, really careful, use your technicals, because chasing these is a recipe for disaster.
I didn't realize Hims was considered a meme stock.
It moved with all of those.
Huh. They're actually, they're a profitable company. It's surprising to me. Usually the meme stocks are the ones that have no business being at the valuations that they were at. This one might be also the same case, but at the same time, it's a real company. They're actually making money, not like the GME and AMC companies that are just constantly losing it. And the whole GLP-1 thing with Hims is really good news. So it's interesting that it's kind of thrown in with the meme stocks. It's interesting to me.
Bubbles, I really don't care, dude. Like, I don't know why would if the product is good or if the returns are good, I'm not making my investment decisions based on who's getting more wealthy. That is not a strategy that I would subscribe to. And their products are definitely not garbage at all. They're industry leading. ONMD.
When I say a real company, I mean one that actually has products, one that actually has, that's actively making money. But yeah, you can register at the SEC even if you aren't a real company. Just look at all these BS China names that have nothing to their company, and they're just constantly pumps. So yeah, I do think that you can register at the SEC if you're not a real company. The SEC has no teeth. So they'll just be like, oh, yeah, sure. Another application. Great. Stamp of approval.
Stamp. I was just going to say, yeah. Stamp it up.
All right. Now that we're beyond that, what is there to trade? Looks like Alpha's still going higher.
Looking around, man. RNB, this is a nice little stock making a decent move here today, although I don't see any entrance on, or entry on that.
Buy VKTX if you want GLP exposure.
I'm with you on that. The one thing about the GLP-1 exposure, this is another thing that we've really got from our happy hour discussion. This is going to continue to have new players enter this market. The competition in this is going to grow. So some of these companies aren't going to make it. If you just take a look at how the products are improving, like semaglutide versus trabesticide and all of that, and there's going to be advancements in here, and some of these companies are going to fall by the wayside. Some of them are obviously not going to, but I don't know which one's going to end up winning here. VKTX, though, I certainly like it at the spot on the chart.
Wasn't there a company that recently just announced that they're bringing an oral GLP to market? I know Pfizer's working on one, but
wasn't that Lex? Was that LEXX?
I don't know who it was. It's that I thought the news came out like this week that somebody's got.
Maybe I'm mixing this up with another one.
And I'm sorry, I don't have the name. No, they are testing GLP-1s. Oh, they just. Oh, wow. As I looked at LEXX, did you see that news come across the headline there?
Lexera awards contract for third GLP-1 human pilot study. Boy, that's some good timing, isn't that, 13?
That's crazy.
It was AMGN, says Jay. AMGN. Now, Lexera Biosciences' patented drug delivery technology, Dehydratech, improves the way active pharmaceutical ingredients enter the bloodstream by promoting more effective oral delivery.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, this is definitely an oral delivery stock, but it looks like it's not just specific to the GLP-1. AMGN was the other one mentioned here by
Yep.
Jay Rice.
Yep. Thank you, Jay Rice.
Thank you very much.
Getting a mention of ELAB.
Nicholas, appreciate this one. Zunaid had someone on yesterday that has an oral non-semi that does not cause as much muscle loss. So
Maybe
that's
that's
wasting, as you will hear that described.
Yeah, and on that side of the trade, I am in a little bit of Abbott because they have, those Pedialytes and Ensures and all those, those nutritional drinks that are typically meant for people that don't have a very big appetite, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I thought Pedialyte was designed for kids. I think it's weird that adults are drinking it now.
Well, because it's it helps with hydration. And,
helps rehydrate.
I picked up Abbott for that and it's a good company with in other aspects, but I wanted the exposure to the wasting that the GLP-1s are causing. Okay. I think that's an important aspect of this weight loss trade.
Zcar here. This is a penny stock for you penny players right at VWAP. Potential move through the VWAP if this gets the juice. ONMD right beneath the VWAP. That really hasn't been able to go anywhere though today. FRZA getting mentioned by Crow. I think you mentioned that one earlier, Crow. That's another penny stock here.
They just had earnings yesterday. No, I'm sorry. Last week.
Lucas asking, well, what's your idea about the Qs bouncing from the 5-day moving average? I'll be honest, I don't think I've ever looked at a 5-day moving average. I would like a much longer moving average than just the 5-day. If you meant the 50-day, that has us, that's down in what, in the 430s there? I would love for this to come back to the 430s. And yes, I do think we would bounce there. Yes.
Let me see here. I could see us bouncing there, especially when you have this consolidation that we got at the beginning of March until about the middle of April. We had some sideways consolidation there, so that's going to be a demand zone. We get down to there. That's right in the same area as the 50-day SMA. You also have a silver cross in the Qs, so that's a bulge crossing. Yeah, I think that there's more of a case to be made that if you do get down to about 440 or lower, that there's going to be a bounce. So I think that seems to hold up for the moment. Yeah.
Stay focused here. 13. Where do you think we retrace to on the SPY? I'm curious to hear your thoughts here. If you need a sec here, let me share this instead. If you need a sec to take a look at that chart, I'll go ahead and start real quick here. Okay. The first thing that I'd like to see on a SPY is a retrace to this 50-day. Last time we did this, we actually tried to hold there and bounce. And the very next day, the market's like, no, dude, we need to explore lower. I'd actually really like to see the same thing here. I'd like to see us try to bounce at the 50. Try to have all of the dip buyers say, nope, nothing's different here. Buy at the 50, buy the dip, and then get absolutely flushed and crushed. Move maybe down to the 100. I'd really love to see this back at the 200-day. I think that's asking for too much, though. So as far as a retrace here, I think the 50-day is definitely going to be one of those first spots. I personally would like to see it fail and go lower.
Well, since we've moved up to new all-time highs of, let's see, what's this print now? 533.07. I would start doing some math. Like, what's the 5% pullback level? What's the 10% correction level? What's the 15% correction? What's the 20% bear market? That'll give you some downside targets. So let's start with 5%. That's looking at it's going to be about 506.50. That's about where that 5% pullback would be off the all-time high we just put in today. So that would be one level. We saw how that actually worked out really well with this most recent 5% pullback level. We ended up getting going just a little bit, more than 5%, and then we had this huge rally. So that could be one of the first things that I would be looking at in terms of pullbacks, corrections, because I still think we need them. And then you could also use some of these previous levels that we've been looking at before, or the previous all-time high could definitely be one, since we had some topping out there. So you have price action in that area that could provide a bounce, or at least a day trade for a bounce before it goes lower. You also have some of the other moving averages, like the 20 and the 50. That currently is at 519 and 515.40. So you have those levels. I would say maybe those three levels would be the best ones to start with. The moving averages, four moving averages, the previous all-time high, and the 5% pullback level.
And by the way, that 10% pullback level that I thought you were getting ready to talk about that here, that actually has us pulling back right to about 480 from the highs put in today, which is one of the lines that we have drawn on this chart. This was a former resistance line that also kind of acted as support. I'd love to see a 10% pullback.
Yeah, so 480 is the 2022 all-time high before we broke earlier this year.
There you go. Stay focused. Let me know if that answers your question. Really good stuff there. Okay. Lion Atlas says, I'm so back. Let's make some money. Lion Atlas, sometimes life is all about timing. Unfortunately, our show here is out of time for today. So you were unable to get that one here today. We will be back with this tomorrow, 13. You will not be, but I actually have a special guest lined up to fill in for 13. We will do our best to fill your gigantic shoes, 13.
Oh, stop it.
However, I know that you're spending some time with your family, so enjoy that. And folks, remember, Monday is Memorial Day, so the market will be closed. So don't show up trying to trade it. There will be no show here on Monday morning. We will rejoin you on Tuesday. Please think about all of our fallen veterans on Memorial Day. 13, you have yourself a great 4-day weekend, folks. Stay green, stay safe, stay focused. I'll see you tomorrow. Take care, everybody.